Hey, wrestling fans, welcome to another episode of Wrestling After Show. Coming at you from the palatial After Show studios right here in the heart of the Mid-Atlantic territory. I'm Heath Haynes.
And I'm Jonny Fairplay.
And we're here to talk about some wrestling today. Mostly the stuff we like, some of the stuff that we don't, and generally just all our thoughts and feelings and analysis of everything going on in mostly WWE, to be honest. But, you know, sometimes other wrestling does come up.
Sure.
But this week is going to be WWE heavy for sure. As we're recording, we're looking forward to this weekend, to the return of Saturday night's main event, the network primetime special made famous from the World Wrestling Federation in the 1980s. The new iteration coming at us from the historic Nassau Coliseum this weekend. We're going to be breaking down that card. As well as talking about some stirrings in the tag team universe of World Wrestling Entertainment. We've had a couple of heel turns and some focus on the tag team divisions of both shows. So we'll be talking about that a little bit, and we'll be going to a classic match from the 80s. Classic match from Saturday night's main event from 1987. One you might remember as a kid, or one you might be getting exposed to for the first time. But speaking of getting exposed, you exposed yourself.
Well, no, I.
Yeah. No, I have no idea if you exposed yourself or not, but you did have a great time in Orlando this weekend.
I had a great time. I was at Over the Edge celebrity event.
That's right. Receiving an award, I believe.
One of the top fundraisers. Kayfabe, brother.
Congratulations.
Yeah, it's a shoot. You know what shoot means.
I do know what a shoot is.
That's
one of the many differences between myself and Logan Paul. I know what a shoot is.
Yes. So it was amazing. It was over 130 reality stars, and we have some pretty amazing wrestlers there as well. And I got a little fracas.
Oh, no.
I know.
You?
I know. Of all people, you would think I'd be wise enough at 50 to not get myself into a fracas.
You've been in a good number of scrapes, and one would hope that you had learned from your past experience.
I've never won. I've literally never won a fracas in my life.
Oh, in life.
So I'm trying to think back, like when I was like it was either third or fourth grade. There was some girl named Tiffany. She's like a foot taller than me, because girls grow first. Used to. I don't know if milk screwed that up or what. But anyway, back in the day, girls grew first. I remember getting off the bus stop and her just jamming my head into snow until the snow was red. So lost that one. Had a match against Molly Holly.
Yeah.
Managed by Jimmy Hart.
Okay.
Larry Zbyszko, special guest referee.
Mm-hmm.
Still lose that one.
Wow.
I mean,
can't catch a break.
I got literally.
So what's the latest development here?
So I'm at this event Over the Edge. Amazing, incredible, tons of people. I'm minding my own business. You know me.
I know you.
Right. Neil the heel. He's this guy, Boca Raton wrestling guy.
Okay.
Right. Bumps into me.
All right.
I'm like, what the heck? He goes, I'm the biggest villain here. Get out of my way. What? Excuse me?
Yeah.
What season of House of Villains was he on?
Right.
So anyway, we exchange words.
Okay.
Possibly mine are a little more colorful than his. There's a shove. There's a bigger shove. Ozzy from Survivor. Matt, Special Olympian in the he's a deaf Special Olympian, gold medal winner in freestyle swimming.
Okay.
Him and Ozzy hold me back. Neil the heel has got Noah Kakoa. He was Kona Reeves from NXT.
Okay.
He's got his big security guy, Lloyd, huge Samoan. We're going at it. Frank the Clown shows up.
Holy shit.
You know who Frank the Clown is?
A clown named Frank, apparently.
Oh, no. It's Frank the Clown. It's
distant relative of Doink?
It's no... possible. Who's to say? I mean, kayfabe, brother.
Okay.
No, he is Noelle Foley's
that guy.
husband or fiance.
Yeah.
Great guy.
Sure.
Well, he intervened on this.
Yeah.
We're having a match. It's me and Neil the heel, March 9th, Boca Raton Wrestling.
That's how you settle things in the real world, ladies and gentlemen. You get in a scrape at a reality show, celebrity charity conference, and you end up working yourself into a wrestling match. There it is. It's a shoot, brother.
It's a shoot.
Well, you'll have to keep us posted on all the developments leading up to that Clash of the Titans and at Boca Raton Championship Wrestling.
It's all going to work out
for sure. And I would just like to give a little shout out to apparently my biggest fan, Kiana James.
Yeah,
I had no idea she had heard of me and my exploits and music and the podcast world, but apparently she's a big fan, and we had some videographic evidence that you took of this opinion that she has.
Well, I was hanging out. There were some WWE folks there.
Yeah,
NXT, all under the umbrella, and she was just like, "Hey, don't you do that wrestling after show podcast?"
Right.
I'm just like, "Yeah." She goes, "Who's that good looking guy you do the show?" I'm just like, "No, Jonny Fairplay." You. That's
no. The good-looking guy.
She was looking for you.
She was looking for Double H.
She has weird taste.
Okay, apparently. She does not have a weird face, though. She's gorgeous. And she's a big fan of mine. I'm a huge fan of hers. Looking forward, with great anticipation when she returns to WWE television, hopefully sooner rather than later. But speaking of WWE television, we're going to dive right in and do some preview of the Saturday night's main event that's coming up this week, emanating, like I said, from the Nassau Coliseum, broadcast live on Peacock and NBC affiliates in your area. A little bit about the history of Saturday night's main event. This was a big deal for to have a network broadcast presence.
Yeah,
in prime time for wrestling.
But not prime time.
It wasn't prime time.
No, that's the thing.
Yeah, it would air in place of Saturday Night Live.
Yeah,
quarterly.
So they would do every 8 weeks, I believe. Does that work?
Yeah, sure.
Okay,
how about that?
6 or 8, whatever. So it started a little bit before Saturday night's main event. It started with on the road to WrestleMania. We had the MTV, once again, 10 p.m., not prime time features. We had the war to sell the score and the brawl to sell it all.
Right.
The interactions between Roddy Piper, Hulk Hogan, Cyndi Lauper, Wendy Richter, and all those shenanigans. And that kind of stuff and broke cable television records. I mean, just trounced them.
Well, that was those MTV specials were that's my wrestling fan origin story, because I was an MTV kid, and for a long time I didn't, when wrestling would come on television on Saturday mornings, I would get mad, because if you saw wrestling, that meant the cartoons were
no
over.
more cartoons.
No more cartoons. Now you have to go outside and do stuff. But when wrestling,
we used to like that for the record.
Yeah, we used to like to go outside and do stuff.
It wasn't a punishment. Go outside.
And when
it used to be punishment, you can't go outside.
That's right.
Yeah.
But when wrestling was on MTV, I was like, okay, I got to check this out. And my kid brain, I had no discernment between, the Crockett wrestling that would come on at, it's on Saturdays at noon. What's going on there?
Oh, well, I was checking the ratings for the war to sell the score.
Okay, check that out. So it's just like professional wrestling is professional wrestling, but I heard Roddy Piper's name was, in the atmosphere around here, so that was that rang a bell for me, and that was the first wrestling show I ever watched on television was the war to settle the score, for sure. What do you got there?
I'm trying, because I know it was something crazy. Of course, Wikipedia would love for me to pay for this information. It's not making. I want to say it was something like 8 million viewers.
That's a big rating show.
That's insanity.
It showed that professional wrestling could work outside of a Saturday morning TV show for kids, and so in the wake of the WrestleMania, hype, we get Saturday night's main event
network,
and on NBC, and tons of memorable moments throughout the 80s, and I think it ran into the 90s, right?
Went into the 90s, got a little stagnant. They lost their deal and apparently lost their appeal with NBC Universal Properties proper, and made their way to Fox for the main event.
Oh, okay, that was the evolution of
That
okay.
was the evolution, and the big thing it was supposed. I want to say it was like Macho Man versus Warrior. It was some kind of match. Mike Tyson was supposed to be the special guest referee.
Mm-hmm.
The night before, 2 nights before, or within a week before, Mike Tyson loses to Buster Douglas. WWF calls an audible. Buster Douglas is our special guest referee.
Oh wow! Because they want the champ.
Well, yeah, and people are still talking about Buster Douglas to this day.
To this day.
Maybe Logan Paul.
Slanted, skewed history aside, we're not really sure of any of those facts, ladies and gentlemen.
No.
But those are our impressions. But now we're going to give you our impressions of the card leading into this card. First off, we're going to have the culmination of the Women's United States Championship tournament, which is going to. Oh man, yeah. Now I'm the guy goofing around on the phone. It's either going to be, I guess we're going to get the semifinals this week on SmackDown. So based on that, we're going to have either Bayley or Chelsea Green versus Michin or Tiffany Stratton. Now, I have some definite feelings about how I'd like to see this shake out, but what say you, Fairplay?
I'm guessing we get. I guess Chelsea versus Michin.
I'm pulling for myself. I'm pulling for a Chelsea Green victory over Tiffany Stratton. And
are we getting heel versus heel though?
And Tiffany Stratton's loss will be the result of some chicanery involving Nia Jax and that bunch. And
that ends that nonsense.
This will be the impetus of Tiffany Stratton turning against them and actually maybe really using the Money in the Bank contract and getting a championship. That's what I'm hoping for. I think overall, the idea of mid-card women's titles are cool.
Sure.
It goes. You have there's always the talk of like how many titles is too many titles, and when you have too many titles, it dilutes.
We have too many titles.
The meaning. I disagree. I think you can have a bunch of titles. If all the titles mean something, then you can have a bunch of titles. And I go back specifically to, again, the origin of my wrestling fandom when I got into when I started getting into Crockett. It was after Crockett had bought Georgia.
Yeah.
So they inherited all those Georgia titles.
National.
So as a kid, you would see on any given show, you could see like going from the bottom up, you could see the Mid-Atlantic championship, you could see the national championship, you could see the national tag team championships, you could see the world television championship, the United States championship, and the world heavyweight championship.
You forgot the world junior.
And the world junior heavyweight championship. So that's 7 titles right there.
Yeah, Western States Heritage.
Well, that was later on.
Yeah.
And as a kid, I was like, a belt was a belt, and so if you had a belt, you meant something. Like Black Bart as Mid-Atlantic champion, he was the shit, And Ronnie Garvin he ended up with the Mid-Atlantic. He was the last Mid-Atlantic champion, and I think Wahoo McDaniel was the last national champion. Eventually, they folded some of these in.
Yeah.
Like they folded the national championship into the U.S. championship. They got rid of the Mid-Atlantic championship altogether. But then you get the Western States championship. Now, but at that point, that title never felt like anything to me.
I heard a rumor on this, and I asked, and Barry Windham said not true. Larry Zbyszko said there may be something to that. But the rumor and innuendo on the Western States Heritage Championship was there used to be a monthly golf tournament.
I'll buy it. Yeah, so and I think the addition of these titles, because you're looking at if the brand split is maintained, then really in the context of one TV show, you're only dealing with
Half the
it's not like 10 titles on every show. It's like there's 4. There's your tag, your men's single, your men's world, your women's world, and now your women's, mid card, your women's single, and then the women's tag floats, between all the shows. It gives the opportunity, if they make it important enough, it gives the opportunity for more storytelling for the women's undercard.
They've had difficulty with that, so if this helps that, I allow it.
And Chelsea Green just every week maximizes those minutes, in the words of Cody Rhodes, and her walking around, parading around with a championship, with the heater of Piper Green behind her.
Niven.
Yeah, Piper Niven. Piper Green. Who's Piper Green? She's Chelsea Green.
They're getting married.
I see shades of like a honky tonk man style run with that women's U.S. title.
Oh, I love that.
So
the only reason I said Meechin is because I really want Chelsea to get her heat, but I think half the fans are going to cheer. There's an undertone of people that love Chelsea Green for how great she is at what she does,
and also Tiffany Stratton.
Yeah. So and I just feel, but at the same time, WWE, the machine, loves Tiffany Stratton right now. Like, she was the face of the Minnesota Vikings game, like the celebrity face of a celebrity being there. It was Tiffy time at the Vikings game,
and she was in Vikings gear on SmackDown this week, and of course emanating from Minnesota. And she was super babyface hometown reaction on SmackDown.
So maybe it's Tiffy time versus Chelsea. Tiffany is more of the face in that match. Chelsea wins, and Nia screws it up for her. Boom, we kill that stuff. Tiffany Stratton. I just feel there's a lot of meat on the bone for Tiffany as a heel. But I mean, screw it.
She can always go back.
I can see her turning face, selling some merch, because she's got a new jacket coming out and all that crap. Sells some merch, and then she turns heel. She's like, "Of course, I was never nice, stupids."
Yeah. Really easy to go back to that. Also, remaining with the women's, we got another women's championship. All these matches are for championships, which I think is great.
This is better than a pay-per-view.
And it's only 4. It's only 2 hours.
And this is a smart move on behalf of NBC Universal. So because NBCU, owns Peacock. So Saturday's main event is not only on NBC network proper, it's on Peacock streaming.
That's right.
And so if you paid for the PLEs and it's like, oh, why are you giving away all this on, it's the same shit. It's the same channel.
Right.
So you're not giving away anything.
Okay.
So, and it's just built, it's just like, holy shit, I need to watch NBC or I need to watch Peacock to see the coolest wrestling shit this week.
Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah. It's, I'm really looking forward to it.
Because in the past, there would be like there'd be 1 or 2 good matches or 1 or 2 angles, and it was kind of house show fever.
For Saturday night's main event in the 80s. Okay, yeah.
This is not house show fever.
No. These are championship matches with stakes, and that have storylines that they've been building up on TV for a while. And in the case of the main event, definitely for a while.
Yeah.
But moving along to the Women's World Championship, Liv Morgan versus Io Sky, who Io won some kind of gimmicked up triple threat, whatever. For that's how they figure out who the contenders are now. This one, I'm thinking this is where you're going to see this is going to be a case of kicking the can, and there's going to be some outside interference. I think Rhea Ripley is going to be involved, and probably an indecisive finish, but Liv retains.
Yeah. I mean, I guess you could do the deal where Rhea helps Io win, and then we get Rhea, and I don't know.
Oh, there was a moment of that last night
Yeah.
on Raw,
But I think it was just, I don't know.
I think this will be a match that'll be an excuse for an angle. But I'm also looking at it as an opportunity for two women who were in the women's War Games match from a couple weeks ago to sort of have a chance to maybe clean up their image a little bit, because I mean that match just did, at least in my eyes, like just did a lot of damage to like in the in-ring skill of everybody involved outside of Rhea Ripley. And so yeah, Io Sky and Liv Morgan, let's have a match, and
they knew how to have a match.
and let's see some work, Speaking of angles, kind of coming out of nowhere, as we're recording this, what had been billed as a World Heavyweight Championship defense of Gunther versus Finn Balor, Damian Priest got added, and now it's a triple threat. We saw as the results of what happened on Raw last night, and yeah, I mean the writing was on the wall as soon as soon as Damian Priest came out.
Well, yes and no. So you had Judgment Day out there last night, right? And you have Gunther cut his promo in jeans and a black guy. I'm just like, oh, Gunther, the common man.
Yeah, no, but what I'm saying is, as soon as Damian Priest came running out, it's like, okay, now we know it's going to be a triple threat, and especially since when Damian ran out,
saved Gunther,
and then Gunther clotheslines him immediately with no thought, and it's like, yeah, okay, well, this is gonna be a triple threat.
Before Gunther, I'm just like, are we looking at a Gunther face turn?
Well, we can talk. I mean, we can talk about that. The presentation of Gunther, you definitely get the vibe that with his not even redemption story arc, but the story arc of his match going into Survivor Series of, he's, maybe on the back foot. So yeah, he's kind of on the come up, and he does come out, wearing very casual. I mean, still sharp, but casual for him. And and I mean, Gunther is one of those characters where, I mean, he never tells a lie.
Yeah.
He always tells the truth. He's got an attitude about it, but like, if you're street trash, he's going to call you street trash, and it's just
we know the origin story.
It's a clear illustrated fact that you can demonstrate. But yeah, if he just keeps, and the best thing about any kind of turn is when the person doesn't really change, their target changes.
Yeah.
And if you just start aiming, it felt like with the interaction between Gunther and the Judgment Day, it's like, okay, they're just aligned. Gunther is staying the same, but they're just aligning his aim, and now he's focused on these guys. Maybe that's a babyface turn, but I'm not interested in a long-term like tweener.
No, that's why. I mean, because we had Damian Priest make the say, it's going to be a 4-on-1 beatdown or whatever. He comes even up the odds. Gunther, punch from behind, whatever. Goes to take out his arm forever, like does the move where you snap the arm.
He's still a dick,
And I'm just like, all right, well, there is no gray area here of whether he's a good guy, bad guy, or tweener. I'm just like, I just feel like because Braun Breaker's in that tweener spot,
and I think for him it works.
Yeah,
but that's what I'm saying. If
Gunther, I don't like it.
I think there is a tweener spot.
Yeah,
you can't be doing it with multiple guys.
No, not at all. Even on different shows, I'm just like, I don't want to, because we're gonna get to the tag team stuff, and there's something similar but different, and that's what's working, similar but different. I don't need similar but different, especially on the same show.
This could be a way of just like getting all three of these guys out in front of a crowd, and then like whoever the crowd is sort of getting with or getting against, like if they're thinking that they want to go on a babyface route with Gunther, well, let's put him in here with a heel and a babyface and see where he aligns, and then maybe go in that direction. But still, I think having Damian Priest out there kind of muddies the waters a little bit, and it really seems like at this point they're kind of beating a dead horse with him in the Judgment Day, and it's like
Yeah,
I guess they don't really have anything else for him.
And if they really want to turn Gunther babyface, I mean, if he has a match against Goldberg at WrestleMania, that you've done it.
That might do it. That might do it.
Especially if you swear it's Goldberg's last match and he just ends this dude forever.
Yeah, it could be good.
Yeah.
But this next match, ladies and gentlemen, is short of the bloodline and the absence and the aftermath of CM Punk and Drew McIntyre. This has been the main storyline in WWE programming, and it's Kevin Owens going against Cody Rhodes for the WWE Championship. And this has been a lot of great storytelling, capped off with this week on SmackDown the rental car interview. That's going to go on. That's going to be on highlight reels, I feel like, for years to come. I love that segment.
That's where you're at with that.
The rental car interview. I thought it was fantastic.
Yeah, no, good piece of business. I love that. I loved all of this, but Kevin Owens, the heel that he is, I think it's as simple as we just get a walkout in the middle of the match.
Yeah, he's just like, I'm done.
I think they'll go back and forth. I think Kevin will get a little bit of advantage or whatever, and then he's like, you know what? No. And I just feel like that's the heel in Kevin Owens.
I'd be profoundly disappointed, and that definitely would be a case of kicking the can down the road.
Oh yeah,
for some more stuff between these two guys.
Or an injury angle. Let's go with an injury angle.
This buildup has been great. Well,
I think it's a walk off.
Well, with Cody and Chad Gable having a great match on Friday night, and also that's something we need to get into. With Chad Gable's appearance on SmackDown officially letting us know that there is a trade window or portal. They called it like 3 or 4 different things on commentary.
Yes.
So we are gonna, which is great because anything's better than Superstar Shakeup, which was very much a Vince thing.
Yeah, Superstar Shakeup was no good. The trade portal is the college football or the college sports
is that
deal.
What they call it? Yeah.
And the trade window is NFL, MLB.
So Chad Gable shows up, ends up having a great match with Cody Rhodes, of course. Yeah. Really goes after the leg to the point of removing Cody's boot to really go after the leg. So that's always, and I think that's to Cody's advantage in having these matches because Cody goes into these title defenses and everybody's pretty sure he's coming out the other end still with the gold. But when you give him these injuries going in, there's a story to tell now. And not that this match needed any extra element of narrative, but it's another little layer. So whereas in their previous encounter at Blood Money, I think, where the story is that KO was hesitant to go after the injured leg of Cody Rhodes. That's not going to be the case this week.
Yeah, and I didn't like that during Blood Money.
Yeah,
but I'm so glad we did it now.
Yeah.
Long-term storytelling, brother.
There it is, brother.
Yeah,
but I think we both see Cody coming out on top of this, but
maybe not coming out on top.
Right.
Keeping the championship,
retaining,
but this is far from over.
Far from over. There it is.
Is that the?
It's no. That's.
Have you already done that one?
Far from over. Is that? That's a Starrcade theme song, isn't it?
Maybe.
Yeah. Frank Stallone.
Yeah, but our title gimmick. Have you done Far From Over yet?
No, I haven't.
Oh,
I haven't. There
You're
it is.
Easy peasy.
Oh yeah, if you hadn't been noticing, ladies and gentlemen, our thumbnail strategy on these videos on YouTube, the thumbnail titles, captions are officially song titles and song lyrics for the past month. A little Easter egg for all the Wrestling After Show faithful out there.
Just do a Google search.
There it is. But moving on, ladies and gentlemen, we are going to talk about some tag team situations. Of course, last week we spent a good amount of time on Wrestling After Show talking about the fantastic turn of the New Day, which nobody anticipated. I think the conventional wisdom going into that was Xavier Woods is going to turn heel.
Yeah.
And what they ended up doing is,
and what do we got after that?
But they both turned heel. Kofi Kingston turned heel as well on Big E, and much to the delight of both of us, we loved all of that business. Well, moving on to the SmackDown side of things, over on the Blue brand, they've had a similar tale that they've been telling of tag team dissension with DIY, Johnny Gargano and Tommaso Ciampa. And again, a pretty clearly telegraphed heel turn on the way.
By Ciampa.
Yeah, by Ciampa.
Yeah. And I think we were all in agreement that similar to we didn't think it was going to happen with the New Day, but we were just like, okay, one of them's going to turn, and it's probably not going to work out for either one of them. They're probably going to be both dead in the water in 4 months.
Okay, sure.
On the New Day.
Right.
We're looking at DIY. If one of them turns, they're probably going to be dead in the water in 3 to 4 months.
Well, yeah, I mean, so similar outcomes projected possibly for
but
these
we were
guys.
Hoping for these both to turn, because it's just like, if they both turn, this works. This worked.
Yeah. So in the case of DIY, again, a pretty clear telegraphed heel turn from Tommaso Ciampa ends up being a double switch or a double turn for both of them. They both turn heel, Gargano as well. And in the context of a tag team championship match with the Motor City Machine Guns, great match. And I really got to give it up. I've never been a Gargano fan, but I've got to give it up for him, because his role
crucial.
His role in this whole thing was clutch for sure, because he had to sell the role of the bewildered babyface. Like, I don't know what to do, and even to the point where he who ate the super kick? Did he super kick Ciampa, or was it the other way around?
I can't remember.
So one of them gets, but yeah, so he had to, play babyface and like, I'm not, I'm not.
And he stops Ciampa earlier. He's like, we're not doing it like that.
Yeah, all of that.
Yeah.
And then with the flip of the switch, nut shot, boom, boom, boom. And then the moment where he looks at Ciampa and he's like, well, I guess that worked. And he was a heel all along.
Yeah.
And it was tremendous. And hats off to WWE Creative for pulling this off, because essentially they did the same turn twice in 1 week.
Yeah.
But one was definitely on a more emotional level, and one was like an in-ring kind of deal. I thought they both worked. Even after seeing the turn on Monday, I was still surprised by the turn on Friday. But when they did essentially the same thing.
Yeah, it's great.
Yeah. We did. Yeah. I had a good time with it. And so moving forward, Fair Play. So we've got new tag team champions on SmackDown. We're anticipating new tag team champions on Raw as of this week. We're
no inside information here.
No inside information here, but we're going to see a tag team title defense. It'll be the Judgment Day defending against the War Raiders, and keep in mind that Finn Balor will be coming off what is sure to be
a loss,
a very physical, endurance challenging match on Saturday night's main event coming. So 2 days removed from that, he's going to have to defend his World Tag Team titles against Do
you think JD McDonough does the job, or is Finn the out, because it's just too much in a 3-day span?
Either one works. For me. So we might possibly be seeing the War Raiders, the newly rechristened War Raiders, as tag team champions with a brand new heel New Day,
with nothing but heat behind them. Holy moly!
Let's talk about that for a moment.
Were you ready for that?
When they came out last night?
Yeah.
I thought the way they did it
Yeah.
was perfect.
Backstage segment. It's like, we're not doing the backstage again. I don't like the line of your question.
Yeah. And
taking over camera 6.
taking over
Camera 6.
taking over the camera. Was that your buddy's camera?
No, that's Rico's camera. Rico's camera's 1.
Yeah.
Yeah. They did not take over Rico's camera. They got 6.
From the beginning of the show, from when they're getting to the arena and they're going for all the fist bumps and everybody's just fuck you guys. And then there was a nice moment talking about this trade portal thing. We've seen, so like Gunther was on SmackDown last week talking to Nick Aldis.
Yeah.
We also saw Dominic Mysterio talking to Nick Aldis in the background of a scene in SmackDown. Last night we saw Tiffany Stratton talking to Adam Pearce, and Cody Rhodes exiting the office, comes out and he's like, "I've known you since we were kids."
Yeah.
And
I've known you guys for years. I've known you since we were kids. Talking to Xavier,
you should be ashamed of yourself. And then Xavier, line of the night, he was like, "That means a lot coming from you, the way you were in high school."
So suppose he was an asshole in high school.
I could totally see that.
You didn't hear the story?
No.
There was some story about a girl. Supposedly Cody was a dick. Cody has told this story, and Xavier Woods has told this story on different podcasts. And both versions are close. Cody comes across much less nice in the Xavier Woods. Yes. And I feel like the Xavier version sounds like the much truer version of the story.
I could see him being a dick in high school as well. So
that was the line of the night for those that caught that little Easter egg.
And so they come out to what we now refer to as Dominic Mysterio levels of heat.
Which, rewind 2 weeks ago, these guys were getting X-Pac heat as baby faces.
Yeah. So they're out there, and the way they played it, eventually at the beginning of Dominic getting the rampant boos and not being able to even get a line out. It was super organic, and then he started playing into it, a little bit where he wouldn't even really try to talk. Yeah. Last night, outside of one time, Xavier kind of did that, where it's like, dude, you didn't even really try to talk. Kofi nailed it every time. He was actually trying to get words out,
and we didn't even hit him, or we didn't even. What was it?
Just getting shut down. So there.
But what was the line on Biggie? They're like, we didn't even hurt Biggie. We didn't even take a chair to Biggie's back.
Yeah.
I'm just that's so great.
So you want to talk about, well, I guess that worked. I guess this worked because now people are super invested and hating the New Day.
Who knew?
And so you have an opportunity with a newly heated up heel New Day to go tearing through the tag team ranks. With the addition of an extra hour because Raw's going to go back to 3 hours when they go to Netflix. It's a whole new window for storytelling.
Well, I thought the biggest heel move by New Day was 8 years ago when parents were buying their kids light up dildos to put on their heads.
And in a classic scheme of putting one over on the parents. I remember when New Day.
I got heat in my fiance's nightstand drawer right now. Why are they taped together?
I remember when the New Day were actual heels. They came out and they were supposed to be baby faces. People were like, "No, we don't like this." Rejected it. They turned them heel. And I was at a Raw in Nashville one time, and they came out and they had legit heat because they came out and they were making fun of Nashville. They had the little fake Kurt Angle cowboy hats on and just making fun of country music and stuff. And it's this is working out. And then they got over his baby faces. But I remember heel New Day, and there was definitely still a comedy element to heel New Day.
Yeah.
But I don't think we're going to be seeing any comedy in this iteration.
if we do, not anytime soon.
Yeah.
So I don't know with that.
So yeah, so got some opportunities in both tag team divisions for some fresh matchups, fresh storytelling. Street Profits might finally not get fucking shit canned before their match, or get to do something. I don't know.
I think this pushes them back into the face stratosphere.
Right.
So
They had been kind of bouncing back and forth a little bit.
it looked like it, but I think with the DIY trigger pull and an obvious backstage beatdown.
Yeah.
That I don't think that gives them any other option than babyface, at least for till next year at the earliest. We're in December.
Before we get to our Saturday night's main event thoughts, let's talk for just a second about this trade portal.
Yeah.
And from what we're seeing on TV, the fact that we saw both representative champions from the opposite shows appearing on the other show, as opposed to the draft where they made very clear champions are not eligible.
Yeah.
The champions stay on the show. It seems like with this trade window, maybe champions are up for grabs. Could we possibly be seeing, because I know you've been ringing the bell for Cody and the Bloodline all going to Raw,
and Cody and I was about to say Cody and Roman, but yeah,
and all the Bloodlines having all that move over to Raw. So I guess I could see
Gunther going to
SmackDown along with Judgment Day, because you want to have, Judgment Day has been like the big faction on Raw. You don't want the Bloodline and Judgment Day coexisting on the same show. So maybe all the Judgment Day folks go over to SmackDown.
I'm a little done with the Judgment Day.
I've been done with them for a while too. LA Knight, we haven't talked about him. He speaking of getting shit canned, he got shit canned on SmackDown this week. I don't like anything they've done with him since Logan Paul. And
never say you'd miss Logan Paul more than
well, I in this context, I mean,
please.
Well, it's with LA Knight, and we talked about this last week. It's like, and as you're very fond of observing, in-ring work is not his strong suit.
No.
And that's what they seem to have relied on
for no reason
for the entirety of his U.S. Championship run. So now he's got they get the belt off of him, and before he gets shit canned by the Bloodline in very quick fashion this week, you see the beginnings of a new triple threat angle for him to be in. And again, when his skill is mic work, you're going to put him in this three-way angle with a guy that speaks no English.
Yeah.
And then a guy even where English is not his first language, he speaking English fairly well, but he's kind of a mush mouth, not great on the mic in Andrade. And it's like, dude, just find, or at this point, just turn LA Knight heel if you've got a baby face that can talk.
Yeah.
Like when Orton comes back, LA Knight and Orton, maybe, turn one of them heel and have them do a thing. I don't know, but it's just like, yeah, and I do miss Logan Paul in that respect because the promos with him and LA Knight were great. And
I don't mind if the person LA Knight is feuding with can't talk. Just have him talk shit. I don't care if the guy can talk shit back.
You don't need a back and forth. You just need a one-way verbal onslaught.
I'm more than okay with that.
Okay, cool.
Because some guys can't.
Yeah, some guys can't. Exactly.
And it's okay. And even if the guy gets out a little bit, just have him call him a mush mouth.
For me, it would be great if they could find somebody to talk. But that's.
I'll take that over seeing him. Like, as I said, they gave him the working man's championship, and it's just like, he ain't the working man.
Yeah, no, he's not. Maybe that guy's on Raw. Maybe a change of scenery is what LA Knight needs. That's what I was leading up to.
Yeah.
But what we might end up having is a very superstar heavy Raw, and maybe like SmackDown. Talking about working man, maybe SmackDown kind of becomes the working man show.
And I feel like there's a lot of people that 5 years ago that was the reason they tuned into another wrestling promotion, and
Right.
maybe they'll get what they want over there.
Well, that's I mean, it would be nice if both shows kind of had a different identity as far as like and they weren't interchangeable. What if SmackDown does become like kind of the more in-ring show? That might be good.
I love it. I mean, I felt like that was kind of the deal. The Heyman 6.
Yes. Yeah.
That era of SmackDown.
Yeah.
So and that's some of the best SmackDown of all time.
For sure.
And those guys, a lot of those guys grew into talkers, but they did not start talkers.
Yeah.
Like Eddie Guerrero was possibly the worst promo ever.
Yeah.
And then became one of the greatest.
Became one of the greatest. And that whole, SmackDown was the backdrop for his rise to prominence, as a single star. So yeah, man.
And Gunther leading the charge, just having
that could
incredible matches.
That could be the identity of SmackDown moving forward. We're going to keep an eye on it moving forward, but right now we're gonna take a look back and we're gonna talk about a moment from Saturday night's main event history. When I think of Saturday night's main event, there's a couple of things that come to mind. One is the twin referee angle. Which we always like to tie everything back to Crockett. So that's when we had from Richmond, Virginia, twin brothers Earl and Dave Hebner were both professional wrestling referees. Dave worked for WWF, and Earl worked for Crockett here in the Mid Atlantic. And at one point, I guess somebody figured out like, oh, like you guys are twins. Let's do something with this. Let's have an angle, and they had a great angle.
I feel like Bruce Pritchard and Pat Patterson
were the brain trust behind
who's to say?
Well, that's one of the moments that I thought of, and I know that you have some fond memories of Saturday Night's Main Event as well.
Yeah, I wanted to go back and watch that match. You said there was nothing to it. It was so I never missed a Saturday Night's Main Event. And except for one.
You've told that story here before.
Yeah. And so it was the Bulldogs versus the Dream Team of Beefcake and Valentine.
Which was a fine match. I watched it. It just
wasn't.
Didn't stand out for me.
Sure.
And also, and it felt kind of canned to me. Like the crowd noise felt kind of piped in. And it definitely.
Well, it might have if they changed out the music for their entrances, which is probably a huge possibility. Yeah. Then they probably just changed.
The commentary definitely felt like it was not taking place. Yeah. Live as well. But tons of classic Saturday night's main event moments. But
the first one stands out to me because as a wrestling fan, much like yourself, you go to the grocery store, and that was time to look at the wrestling magazines.
Yeah.
And there was this guy that was on the cover of magazine after magazine. And you saw him in Roadhouse and some of the other stuff. Terry Funk.
Yeah.
And one of my early introductions to Terry Funk was Saturday Night's Main Event against Hulk Hogan.
Changed your life.
And he it was a juiced up Terry Funk. You look at Terry Funk there versus the Terry Funk that we see in 91.
Yeah.
They look like two different guys.
Yeah.
So, and especially the Terry Funk you see in ECW, 5 years after that,
or saggier.
Yeah, so a little skinnier.
Well, what we settled on, ladies and gentlemen, was a moment that still that sticks out, and still to in my. I guess I was. This happened in '87, so I would have been 14. No, I still would have been 13. This was January '87. And you said it was like episode 3, season 2 or something of Saturday Night's Main Event, emanating from Hartford, Connecticut. And one great thing about Saturday Night's Main Event is like the main event was the first match of the night.
Oh yeah, because it started at 11:30.
Started at 11:30. So yeah,
and you're just like, we're losing people throughout this thing. So it started out with the it was Information Society. Who did
Obsession? No, it was Animotion.
Animotion.
Yeah.
Okay, starts with Animotion's Obsession, and you have the like freeze frame shots of the wrestlers, and they all did these promos that a lot of the wrestlers did not enjoy because WWF did not write those promos. NBC wrote those promos.
no
They'd
way.
have to say at the beginning.
Uh-huh.
Oh yeah, they hated it.
Huh.
So because they were so cheesy.
Right.
So
right.
I like I don't know if it was the people from Saturday Night Live, but it was NBC's people
Mhm.
that wrote the stuff. You know, it's like I'm a tea kettle and I'm gonna do it. You know.
Well, it's interesting because we're supposed to see a return of.
We're getting it.
A lot of those touches. I wonder if that specific. It
has to be. That was the gimmick
as well. But the match we're going to talk about was the first match of this particular episode, and it's a steel cage battle for the WWF Championship. Of course, Hulk Hogan, champion at the time, defending against Mr. Wonderful Paul Orndorff, managed by none other than Bobby the Brain Heenan, and with two referees posted outside the ring, Joey Morella and referee Danny Davis. And this will become very crucial to the finish of this match. But this was one of the first times, and this might have been the unveiling of the new blue steel cage for WWF.
I don't remember the blue cage before this, but I mean, I just may not remember.
Actually, now that I'm thinking about it, Bundy Hogan WrestleMania 2.
Was that blue?
I think that might have been the unveiling of the blue cage. But again, check us in the comments, ladies and gentlemen. We might be wrong. But steel cage match, of course, contested under WWF rules. Their version of the steel cage match, pinfall, sure, that counts. Submission, I guess, maybe. But the main route of victory that most of these combatants would take is trying to escape the cage, which is completely chicken shit and always used to drive me up the wall, even as a kid.
It's the worst. I mean, and especially for a babyface to do it. It's just like you finally got him in the ring.
You finally got this guy.
Yeah, and just like watch me climb over the top. So but this is, according to Vince McMahon on commentary, the first ever steel cage match on network television.
That's correct, and that could be right.
Who's to say?
So yeah, it's a typical sort of Hogan match of the era. If you go back and watch this, you just get to see how fucking outstanding Paul Orndorff is.
He had his working boots on, just feeding Hulk, just nonstop,
feeding and bumping, and getting some heat on Hogan. But like we said, you know, they want to escape. What happens in this match is opposite sides of the ring. Both guys make their ascent. Both guys crest the top of the cage. Both guys making their descent right across from each other. And they land at the same time. And to this day, it's like, and I was even watching it when we were trying to like see if they were watching each other and timing it out, because they land at exactly the same time.
Yeah.
And they go back and show the footage, and they're rolling it back and forth in slow motion with the timer on both sides, and it's totally lined up. One referee calls Hogan the winner, and then referee Danny Davis decides the match for Paul Orndorff. And this plays into a larger angle that was going on at the time. The evil referee, the cheating, scheming referee, Danny Davis.
Yeah.
And so this is another kind of spoke on that wheel of that story. Match gets restarted. Both guys go back in, and immediately I'm sitting there, and we've got Vince McMahon and Jesse Ventura on commentary, and they get the match back in the ring, and Orndorff shoves Hogan out to the middle of the ring.
Yeah. With the advantage.
Yeah. My instant thought is just go back. Why? Like, and they're closing the door. It's like, why wouldn't you just like go back out the door? No sooner had I thought that and said that, Jesse Ventura is like, well, of course, McMahon, you know, the opponent's both feet must hit the canvas
to reestablish
contact before they can attempt an exit. And I was like, thank you, for like closing that logic loophole.
Yeah.
That's stuff like that is awesome. And then Hogan wins, escapes the cage, and then goes back into the cage to pose. Because remember what you were talking.
Hogan must pose.
Hogan must pose.
And Bobby's just the bumping machine.
Oh, and then Bobby gets in the cage, and we get to see some classic Bobby Heenan taking some bumps, and that's always so good.
All right, so with the announcement of Jesse Ventura, and I heard this a couple months ago, and it was rumored innuendo, but it's been confirmed.
And I got to say, you called that a couple of months ago, and I was like, not to doubt you, but like I didn't see it anywhere. I didn't know if you had read it anywhere, but I guess you had the inside track on that info because you are indeed correct. Jesse Ventura is returning to commentary for this episode of Saturday Night's Main Event.
Now I'm hearing people not liking this aspect. Now, Jesse wasn't move for move and all that, wasn't the greatest commentator. Him and Vince weren't the best combination. I don't know if it's just nostalgia. I love it. And I love Jesse calling Tito Chico. I love Jesse being a fucking heel.
I mean, he pretty much in that role invented the heel commentator.
Yeah.
But I don't know that that's the Jesse Ventura that we're going to get on commentary.
But I don't think we're going to get
thermite paint.
It was not the planes, it was thermite paint that took down the buildings.
Yeah, I don't think
we're not getting that.
Yeah, we're not getting that, but are we getting heel Jesse Ventura pointing out all the fallacies and flaws of the baby faces, pointing out, every time that that if a heel is cheating, well, that's just playing the game,
I'm okay with that.
And I mean, are we going to see that? And I think that's and these are questions that I have. I have no opposition to bringing him back if that's what's going to happen. But it remains to be seen. It'll definitely be one of the things.
What's your hope? Which version?
Well, I'm a Jesse Ventura fan of everything he's done post professional wrestling. I thought his run as governor, I thought his term as governor of the state of Minnesota, he did a lot of cool stuff. Yeah, he does have some kind of he does kind of buy into some conspiracy type theories.
Very much so.
But he also he's got a lot of great things to say just about like the current state of the political climate in this country. And
I don't think we're getting that.
Yeah, we're not
getting political commentary.
Let me finish my point. So I'm a big fan of Jesse Ventura and his term, everything outside of professional wrestling that he's done since he left that world. And so in my mind, he's kind of a baby face. That's not the guy I want to see on commentary.
Okay.
I want old Jesse Ventura and some sort of get up, because that was always the thing too.
What's his get up?
Is getting to see, what the hell he was wearing, so like I want to see him in some kind. I mean, but I'm having trouble reconciling the guy that we saw sitting in the front row the other night. Like that guy's because he lives like off the grid in the Baja, and like. I don't know if he's going to go whole hog back into that old Jesse the Body persona. Remains to be seen. It will be one of the things we'll be tuning in to see this week on Saturday Night's Main Event for sure, on top of everything else we discussed on this episode of Wrestling After Show. I'm looking forward to it, and I think I'm going to watch it on NBC as opposed to Peacock. I want that experience of watching it, with like local commercials.
Oh yeah,
and stuff like that.
Yeah. Oh, I don't want the canned Peacock commercials. So yeah. Well, if you come over here, we'll figure out which city we're watching NBC from.
Okay. All the gimmicks,
brother.
Speaking of all the gimmicks, why don't you tell us about all the gimmicks right now, Fairplay, that you got going on?
Post or click subscribe, leave a comment, all the things. Get yourself a Cameo, cameo.com/Jonny Fairplay. Links to everything at JonnyFairplay.com. And Heath, you're on the Instagram. Find you on the Instagram.
I fixed my dryer this weekend.
All right.
That's pretty much what I had going on while you were hobnobbing with
Kneel the heel.
Neil the heel and Kiana James. I was fixing my dryer. So all that and more.
Yeah. At Heath Haynes TJ.
Yeah, Heath Haynes DJ on Instagram. Don't DM me. Leave a comment on this video if you had a good time. Leave a positive review if you're listening on Spotify or one of the other audio streaming platforms. But catch us next time right here on Wrestling After Show, ladies and gentlemen. We'll be delving into the aftermath of Saturday night's main event and all the fine programming that World Wrestling Entertainment has to offer. For Jonny Fairplay, I'm Heath Haynes. We'll see you at the matches.